Hi guys, Arik is here, your Russian coach. Hope you are doing well and smiling. And I'm really proud of you because you're going to finish today Толстый, Тонкий, The Fat and the Thin by Anton Chekhov. That's a great achievement. So, please make sure you're ready to have fun. And if you're ready to have fun, please open your printed materials. If you don't have your printed materials, then please open the link below this video, because you will just get it on your screen. But printed is much better, because then you can mark different unknown words, etc. Now I'm going to show you where we stopped the last time, and so we're going to start from here. Толстый хотел. Толстый хотел. And for the new listeners and viewers and students, just going to remind what happened here. So at the train station, two people met, the thin one and the fat one. And it turned out that the fat one has advanced very highly on the social rank ladder. And the thin one, so they were childhood friends. And the thin one, when he got to know about that, he started feeling kind of awe, kind of reverence. And he started to behave in a very peculiar way, very obedient, like reverent way. So the humor of this story is based on that those childhood friends that are supposed to be equal, but the thin one, when he discovers that the fat one is very high up social ranks, is behaving in a very funny way. So I'm just going to remind you the previous paragraph, and if you want it in a more detailed way, please listen to the previous lesson. «Помилуйте, что вы?» — захихикал Тонкий, еще более съеживаясь. «Милостивое внимание вашего превосходительства, вроде как бы живительной влаги, это вот ваше превосходительство, сын мой, Нафанаил, жена Луиза, лютеранка некоторым образом». So, makes me laugh. So, he says to the fat one, «Excuse me, why are you...» started giggling. The thin one, even like making himself like a ball. You remember съеживаться? It means like making himself lowering himself. Don't remember the word I used the last time. Милостивое внимание вашего превосходительства, kind attention of your highness, вроде как бы живительной влаги, is similar to the water of life. Это вот ваше превосходительство, сын мой, Нафанаил. So here's your highness, my son, Nathanael. Жена Луиза, лютеранка, некоторым образом. So my wife, Louise, a Lutheran, somehow. Remember? That's very funny. Now, look, I'm going to read this whole part till the end. And that's going to be first reading. After that, we're going to work on it. And after that, I'm going to read it again the second time. You're going to see a big difference. Listen. Толстый хотел было возразить что-то, но на лице у Тонкого было написано столько благоговения, сладости и почтительной кислоты, что тайного советника стошнило. Он отвернулся от Тонкого и подал ему на прощание руку. Тонкий пожал 3 пальца, поклонился всем туловищем и захихикал, как китаец. Хи-хи-хи. Жена улыбнулась. Нафанаил шаркнул ногой и уронил фуражку. Все трое были приятно ошеломлены. Now let's start working. First of all, let's go over, it's not a very long part, let's go over the vocabulary of the first sentence from Толстый and up to Стошнила. Возразить, contradict. So Толстый хотел было. Now было here. Было usually means was. But here it's it just makes the emotion stronger. So you can basically skip it in your translation. So хотел было would be the same as хотел, wanted. Толстый хотел было возразить что-то. So the fat wanted to contradict something, to say something that was opposite, meaning. Но на лице у Тонкого было написано столько благоговения. But on the face of the thin было написано, was written. Yeah, написано comes from написать, to write. Было написано, was written. Столько means so much. And благоговение would be reverence. Благоговение. So, на лице у Тонкого было написано столько благоговения would be on the face of the thin one was written so much reverence. Сладости и почтительной кислоты. So, сладость means sweetness. Почтительный, it means reverent or respectful. But here, it's a very funny combination because кислоты comes from кислота, and it means acid. So, now look, so почтительной кислоты would be reverent acid. You can understand it your own way, but that's how Chekhov expresses that. Reverent or respectful acid. So, let's read up to here. Толстый хотел было возразить что-то, но на лице у Тонкого было написано столько благоговения, сладости и почтительной кислоты, so the fat one wanted to say something contradictory, to contradict something. But on the face of the thin was written so much reverence, sweetness, and reverent acid, что тайного советника стошнило. So, тайный советник is the rank. You remember? Is the rank. Very high rank in the Russian society, in the Tsarist Russia. So, and he was tiny советник. So, if you translate tiny советник, that would be a secret advisor, because tiny means secret or hidden, and советник means advisor, but that's just a rank. And Stoshnila basically means that he threw up, that he vomited. Or it might also mean that he felt nauseous. So, yeah, so I don't think he actually vomited here, but he felt nauseous. So, now you will get this whole sentence. Толстый хотел было возразить что-то, но на лице у Тонкого было написано столько благоговения, сладости и почтительной кислоты, что тайного советника стошнило. The fat one wanted to say something contradictory, but on the face of the thin, it was written so much reverence, sweetness, and reverent acid that the secret advisor felt nauseous. Let's continue. Он отвернулся от Тонкого и подал ему на прощание руку. Now, отвернулся от, that's an expression, please underline it. It means turned away from. So, он отвернулся от Тонкого would be he turned away from the thin one. Now, please underline подал руку. Подал руку, that's an expression meaning extended his hand. And на прощание means farewell, like to say goodbye. Therefore, подал ему на прощание руку would be extended his hand to say goodbye. Now let's combine everything together. Он отвернулся от Тонкого и подал ему на прощание руку. So on, meaning the fat one, yeah? He turned away from the thin and extended his hand to say goodbye. And we continue. Тонкий пожал 3 пальца, поклонился всем туловищем и захихикал, как китаец. Хи-хи-хи. Okay. Тонкий пожал 3 пальца. So пожал means squeezed. So the fat one is extending his hand. Тонкий пожал 3 пальца. So the thin one squeezed 3 fingers. Yeah? It's a kind of funny. Пожал means squeezed. 3 пальца, 3 fingers. Поклонился всем туловищем. Поклонился means bowed. Поклонился. And туловищем comes from туловище, which is body. So therefore, поклонился всем туловищем would be bowed with his whole body. Because that's всем. Всем comes from все, which is whole. So bowed with the whole body. And и захихикал. Захихикал means started giggling. Because хихикал means giggled. When you have za before the verb in Russian, as a prefix to the verb, it means started doing something in many, many cases. Therefore, захихикал started giggling. Как китаец, as a Chinese man, yeah? Китаец means as a Chinese person, he. Now look how it works together. Тонкий пожал 3 пальца, поклонился всем туловищем и захихикал, как китаец, хи-хи-хи. The thin one squeezed 3 fingers, bowed with the whole body, and started giggling like the Chinese guy. Хи-хи-хи. Жена улыбнулась. That's simple. The wife smiled. Нафанаил шаркнул ногой и уронил фуражку. So, Nathanael was the son of the thin one. Do you remember? So, what is шаркнул ногой? Шаркнул comes from шаркать, which is to shuffle. You know, to move your leg against something. But here, шаркнул ногой, it just means that he moved his leg against the floor, producing the sound. Meaning he was probably confused. Because of that, he did that. So, Nathanael шаркнул ногой, so he shuffled with his leg, or he produced sound moving his leg against the ground. И уронил фуражку. Now, фуражка is a special cap, that is given to the soldiers or to the students. Not anymore to the students, but at that time it was given to the students as well. Уронил means dropped. Therefore, Нафанаил шаркнул ногой и уронил фуражку would be Nathanael shuffled with his leg, and dropped his cap. Все трое были приятно ошеломлены. So, все трое, all 3, were, приятно, in a nice way, ошеломлены, overwhelmed. Therefore, все трое были приятно ошеломлены. So, all 3 were overwhelmed in a nice way. So, he is talking here about the family of the thin one. Yeah? Because they had 3 people in the family. Himself, his wife, and his son Nathanael. So, he is saying, все трое были приятно ошеломлены. All 3 were nicely overwhelmed. It's a kind of an open question. Like, we can only ponder why they were nicely overwhelmed. So, that's over to you. You just come to your own conclusion, but that's what Chekhov is writing here. Now, guys, we are getting to the pinnacle of our lesson, which is I'm gonna read this whole part, this whole passage that we have studied today, and you're going to get it much, much, much better than you got it in the past at the beginning of the lesson. And if you want to review it later on and to listen to it repetitively, I'll put the link just to this part down below. So listen. Yeah, just a second. Okay. Толстый хотел было возразить что-то, но на лице у Тонкого было написано столько благоговения, сладости и почтительной кислоты, что тайного советника стошнило. Он отвернулся от Тонкого и подал ему на прощание руку. Тонкий пожал 3 пальца, поклонился всем туловищем и захихикал, как китаец. Хи-хи-хи. Жена улыбнулась. Нафанаил шаркнул ногой и уронил фуражку. Все трое были приятно ошеломлены. Okay, guys, now I will applaud you since you did a great job and you read your maybe the first whole classical story in Russian. Well done. We're going to start another one next time. But now I just want to tell you that if you need private Russian lessons, Russian coaching, to get you to the level where you can function in the Russian-speaking environment, you can contact me using the contact details below this video. So I wish you good luck, good mood, and blessings. Ciao, ciao.